Welcome back to the news at 10. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Pt.3 Fashola, has expressed disappointment with the level of work at the Ilori-Jeba-Mokwa Road. The minister observed that the slow pace of work is due to poor funding. He said there may be need to review the Procurement Act to enable the government to pay contractors handling big projects more than 15% mobilization fee. To education now, where the crisis rocking the Federal Polytechnic Auchi in Edo State has taken a new turn as lecturers and other non-academic staff embarked on another protest. They're calling for the removal of the Chief Security Officer of the institution, Mr. Saliu Shaka. This comes amid negotiations by the management of the institution, who are trying to make peace after the school was shut down over a week ago.
Federal Polytechnic Auchi in Edo State prides herself as one of the most peaceful higher institutions in the country until the recent protest by lecturers and other non-academic staff unions over non-payment of salaries and other benefits brought activities at the institution to a standstill. The joint Congress meeting of staff on Tuesday meant to deliberate on some of the offers being made by the management in order for them to suspend their strike. Instead, resulted in another protest, this time against the Chief Security Officer of the school.
Information reaching me now is that more than 6 security officers have been dismissed by the Chief Security Officer for failure to shoot at the demonstrators. It was a peaceful demonstration.
We wrote about 24 prayers to the management. Upon the 24 prayers, they were able to approve 2 for which they said they will work on immediately now, which is IPs and payment of December salary, which we have not received up till now.
Apparently tired of the recent developments, this security official resorts to prayer.
King of glory, in the name of Jesus.
The protesters head to the main administrative building where the acting rector tries to calm frayed nerves. Leaders of the 3 unions, ASUB, SANIP and NASU, later went into a closed-door meeting with the management, although the rector declined further comments. Chairman of the Academic Staff Union in the school speaks on the issues discussed.
The scope has been expanded so that we can investigate the possibility of migrating our staff before keying to the IPPIS platform. Hopefully, if we are satisfied that justice will be done, ensure that the CSO is brought to book for telling his security personnel to shoot at us, then we have no option then to call off the strike, suspend the strike.
For now, the peace process is still on, and it is expected that a common ground will be reached for peace and activities to return to the institution.
21 students of the Akure Babalola University arrested by the police over the recent violent protests in the school campus have been arraigned before a chief magistrate court in Ado-Ekiti. The case has been adjourned to March the 27th for further hearing as the accused students are to be remanded at the Ado-Ekiti prison. Defense counsel Busuyi Ayorinde expressed concern over the situation, advising affected parents and students to remain calm and show respect for the rule of law. The students have been charged with violent conduct and breach of peace. And in Austrian State, southwest Nigeria, doctors under the aegis of the Nigerian Medical Association have begun a 3-day warning strike to protest the non-payment of their salaries. The doctors took their grievances to the state's lawmakers and urged them to intervene to avoid crippling the healthcare system.
Medical doctors take to the streets of Osogbo, the Austrian state capital, to protest the non-payment of their 4-month salary and other entitlements. They have their sights set on the State House of Assembly, where they expect the lawmakers to intervene. The Deputy Speaker is part of the Welcome Party, and he ushers them into the hallowed chambers where the doctors bear their minds.
In the face of gross violations of our members' basic professional and labor entitlements, and have continued to go the extra mile by appealing to our members to safeguard severally to ensure a quick resolution of this crisis. Unfortunately, the state government was very, very uncooperative. It is on account of the above that the NMA also was constrained to embark on this protest march to the House of Assembly to seek refuge.
It is a very difficult time we are passing through. We don't say then that we are alone in this situation. But for us as a medical personnel who needs to have their psychological mind then correct, then in treating people, I don't think we should be allowed to go hungry.
The Deputy Speaker acknowledges their plight and promises to take up the matter.
The House cannot force the executive to do one thing, but we are representing you. We take your cause to the executive. What we can tell you is that go back. Then we make among you to be member of a committee that will meet with the executive, the executive, your members, and ourselves, the legislator. Then we discuss. Then we get to the results out.
With that promise, the doctors leave with anticipation that the lawmakers will prevail on the executive.
Now to our community report, and tonight we take a look at the Iseluku area of Delta State. Residents express concern over the lack of pipe-borne water, healthcare centers and other public utilities. This report examines how the people live without these basic amenities.
Etisola, now you're talking.
Located about 5 kilometers from Iseluku, headquarters of Aniocha North local government area, Idumujeuno lies in the shadow of a dense tropical rainforest north of the Niger with a population of about 5,000. Jagged earth roads ridden with deep potholes are the only access routes to this community, whose people are predominantly farmers. The only tarred road to the community is the one linking it to the Benin-Asaba Expressway and terminates abruptly at the boundary with Iseluku.
The roads are dilapidated, so we require good roads, the government intervention to come and make this possible.
A proper road network is not the biggest need of the people. Potable drinking water has continued to elude them. According to the residents, this water project was constructed by the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC a year ago, but is yet to be commissioned.
We don't know the state of the project because it's not been handed to us. We're not operating it, so we're appealing to the government to come, particularly the NDDC to come and hand it over to us so they can say we have the water project.
So, what options do they have? Draw from the well or walk a long distance of about 15 kilometers from the village to fetch from this stream. And the water is not the best for drinking.
That 5 years this well has been here. And the well, when they dig and finish, they plaster. After the plastering, so we put gutter for inside the zinc of the house. So the water fall and fetch inside the well.
Their children desire to gain knowledge, but the schools are dilapidated, lacking in basic amenities. The consequences of this lack is felt by the students and teachers.
Our classrooms are not good at all. They are not good. We don't have doors, no security here. The windows have all fallen off. Even the building by our left-hand side here, we have written to the ministry, we have invited the PTAs to come and help us so that this building cannot fall on somebody one day.
There is no toilets, no chairs, nothing. We are just suffering from using our walls for board and any other things, no chair. Some people will come to school, they will sit on the ground.
The chairman of the local government, Mr. Chuks Oseme, says the problem is not peculiar to this community.
I know the state government has lots of plan in terms of rural electrification and rural water supply. So I would really let my people, I would really want them, advise them to be a bit patient with the system, patient with the government, especially at this harsh economic times.
A quick intervention to resolve the lack of these basic infrastructure would definitely be appreciated by this farming community. But beyond stopgap measures is the need to keep promises made.
Now you're talking.
A federal high court sitting in Lagos State today dismissed a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by a former Minister of Aviation, Stella Odua, against the Attorney General of the Federation and 3 others. Justice Okon Abang, who has since been transferred to the Abuja division of the court, returned to Lagos to deliver the judgment in line with the new provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. The judge who dismissed Ms. Odua's suit for want of jurisdiction and also held that if the federal government had any valid reason to arraign the former minister in a Lagos High Court, it would not amount to a violation. The court ordered her to pay a cost of 15,000 naira to the Attorney General of the Federation. Now let's take a look at some business news for the day. Here's Adeshewa Josh.
You first. First Bank.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business News. Analysts at EcoBank Capital are projecting that non-performing loans in Nigeria's banking sector will rise to 10% over the medium term from 4.7%. In a report released today, the analysts attribute this to a surge in upstream risk as a direct result of the current low oil prices, which they project to persist for the better part of 2016. They also believe that despite the restructuring of the upstream oil and gas portfolio in 2015, significant risks still lurk in the background. 90 individuals have graduated as the first set of Bloomberg's Media Initiative Africa Executive Training Program. At the graduation ceremony held in Lagos, the graduates were advised to scale up their reportage skills from the training they have received.
The Bloomberg Executive Training is sponsored by New York City's former mayor and billionaire Michael Bloomberg for mainly practicing journalists across Kenya, South Africa and Nigeria. This ceremony features intakes 1 and 2 graduates from the 2015 calendar. Bloomberg Media Initiative Director Ms. Eranas Tennant says the $15,000 valued initiative is sponsored in order to help journalists understand the changing dynamics of business reportage.
Private investment is critical for the growth of any economy. And what we discovered here in the 3 markets is that there was an opening to really drill down a bit more in the training of journalists in this particular area.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Rahman Bello, believes that the reporting standards of the trained journalists has been positively influenced.
By putting their newly acquired skills and professional confidence in business and financial journalism to use, we are assured that Africa is on the path to greatness in the areas of economic and infrastructural development, which is facilitated by quality financial reportage and information dissemination.
Channels Television Chairman, Mr. John Momo, who is represented at the ceremony by Channels TV business editor, Mr. Bosin Omofaye, advised the graduates to up their game in the Bloomberg way.
Business journalism is not fast food. It is a heavy lifting. It requires research, as Bloomberg will tell you. It's research and search and research. But don't ever mistake search for research. You need to broaden your focus and your scope, your knowledge, your urgency, adaptability, research, analytical skills, and so on.
The graduates were presented their certificates and challenged on their latest qualification.
I believe that the investment community will be looking at the continent. The question for all of the journalists is who is going to tell the story.
I came in as a novice and I think I came out equipped to report business, to understand business, to interpret business, things we didn't really understand.
The Bloomberg Executive Training is organized in collaboration with the Lagos Business School and the University of Lagos with 95% success rate.
In order to reduce the rate of unemployment in Nigeria, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is partnering the Austrian government on vocational training. President of the chamber, Mrs. Unike Akonde, and the Austrian Minister of Science and Economy, Ms. Benedikt Gerlinger, revealed this at a meeting in Lagos. The executives say the synergy aims to yield sustainable development for the Nigerian economy. The equities market saw a mixed performance on Wednesday as market indicators ended lower by 1.9%. More on the market's activities with BC Adebayo.
Hello and welcome to the stock markets reports. The Nigerian equities markets got another haircut today as profit-taking continued for a second day. The key broad index tumbled by almost 2% to end midweek session at 24,056.12. Market capitalization also declined to 8.27 trillion naira. Food giant Nestle led the day's top price losers, finishing at 650 naira. Dangote Cement also closed lower at 139 naira 83 kobo, while Guinness closed at 115 naira 42 kobo. Seplat, ETI, and NACO were the top three price appreciators for this session. On the volume chart, Resort Savings and Loans, UBA, and FCMB came in at the top three category. At the end of the session, investors had exchanged 335.61 million shares, valued at 1.95 billion naira in 2,847 deals. That ends the stock market reports. I am BC Adebayo.
Thank you, BC. Now let's take a quick look at all the closing figures from markets around the world. That's business news tonight. The news at 10 continues in a moment. I'm Adeshewa Josh.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria Football Federation names Emmanuel Amunike as the new coach of the country's under-20 team, the Flying Eagles. So that's on sports. Please stay with us.